Hi guys. Last year, around this same time, I published a video about Nostradamus' prophecies for the year we just left behind, 2017. Recently, YouTube Italy has been flooded with videos on Nostradamus' 2018 prophecies. So I decided to be a bit more original and present you with some that you probably haven't heard of yet, and that were developed by less well-known figures, world class. In some cases, rather than prophecies, we could also talk about predictions, meaning events that are foretold using a certain logic. These predictions are made by reworking the information we currently have to hypothesize and reconstruct the events that could happen in the future. What is certain, however, is that these predictions are truly incredible, and it's worth showing them to you. So here are 5 incredible and unknown prophecies for 2018. Peter Schiff's prediction and money's end. The man you're seeing in this photo is Peter Schiff, a world-renowned economist and stockbroker who was able to predict the start of the financial crisis. In 2008 and 2009, in 2018, Schiff sees a new crisis coming that could mark the end of the United States dollar. This crisis, in fact, would have a huge negative impact precisely on this currency. Here are his words. They'll all lose. Everyone who took advantage of the stock, bond, and real estate markets will be wiped out. The value of the dollar will collapse and its purchasing power will disappear. The price of gold will rise. The only real alternative will be gold itself. Deseret Tavares' prediction about earthquakes and tsunamis. Deseret Tavares is a famous Colombian psychic whose prophecies are especially well known in Latin America. She was able to predict the election of President Trump, the divorce of Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie, and the resignation of Pope Benedict XVI. In addition to this, numerous Colombian media outlets claimed that she was able to predict the earthquakes in Chile and Haiti in 2010 and the 2 terrible earthquakes in Mexico in 2017. These are the words she said about what would happen in 2018. In 2018, Bogota will be hit by an earthquake and Tolima by a strong tremor. One of the country's volcanoes will erupt and many floods will hit the coast. This is another message that my spiritual guide asked me to convey so that people know in advance what will happen. Soccer World Cup champion. This prophecy was not given by a person, but it can be inferred from the Chinese horoscope. It seems incredible, but from what they say, the Chinese horoscope has always been able to predict the winning soccer team of this important event. In this horoscope, each year is associated with an animal, and 2018 will be the year of the dog. Like other signs, the year of the dog occurs every 12 years, aligning with the World Cup. The curious thing is that in the year of the dog, the winning teams have always been only 2, Italy or Brazil. In 1934, Italy won. In 1946, the soccer championship was not played, but in 1958, the year of the dog, Brazil won. 1970, again, the year of the dog. The winning team was Brazil again. In 1982, Italy won. In 1994, Brazil won. In 2006, Italy won. In 2018, so there shouldn't be any doubts. Italy will not take part in the World Cup. The winning team, according to the Chinese horoscope, can only be Brazil. The prophecy will come true. David Mayne and the Great Tribulation of 2018. Even the biblical numerology expert David Mayne made his own prophecies for 2018. One of these is the one that would mark the beginning of the Great Tribulation. Mayne, however, says that by tribulation he doesn't mean the end of the world, but rather a huge change in the world as we know it. Here are his words. This will not be the end of the world, but the end of days. According to the prophecy of the Bible, the world will not end, but the world as you know it will come to its end. Everything will change. The prejudice of what is normality will be there. According to Mayne, in 2018, a planet called Planet X will approach the Earth. The same is also mentioned in the Bible, and it would be given the name Ascensio Star. After this planet's impact in the Great Tribulation, 1,000 years of peace will follow. It should be said, however, that National Aeronautics and Space Administration responded to this prophecy by saying not to worry. The Ascensio Star or the planet Nibiru simply do not exist. Can we trust them? Craig Hamilton Parker's prediction about Earth and the climate, and at the top of the list we find the prediction of Craig Hamilton Parker, a British medium who, thanks to television, is achieving great success in England and whose prophecies are becoming famous all over the world. He predicted Trump's victory and Brexit, as well as the political and economic instability we are experiencing today. What worries him the most right now, however, is undoubtedly climate change. In fact, in 2018, the climate will undergo another sudden change. Here are the words that would explain it. 2018 will be a year of political turmoil and environmental change caused by an unprecedented worsening of the climate. The environment is at the top of my list because I feel that 2018 will see earthquakes never experienced before, volcanic eruptions, and a climate worse than what we have now. I've said for years we should expect this, not only due to global warming, but also increased solar activity. We've seen colossal hurricanes, but I feel that even bigger things are coming, worse. And Craig also predicts Vesuvius will erupt, causing Naples to be evacuated and increasing seismic activity in usually unaffected areas. One of these, for example, would be New Zealand. A curious fact about this man is that in November 2017, he predicted that California would be the victim of terrible fires that would bring it to its knees. So, this prophecy would have already come true. It is to be expected that the other prophecies are real as well. That being said, it's time for me to tell you my opinion. If we set aside the prophecy about the World Cup winning team or the one about Planet X, it must be said that the others seem to follow a certain logic and appear to be the result of reasoning rather than mystical ability. Most of the events currently happening in the world can lead us to assume that the situation will get worse and that we will have to be ready to face more serious problems than those we have already dealt with up to now. It's also curious to see how prophecies in general, even those of Nostradamus or Baba Vanga, always focus on possible negative events in the future. Why are the positive ones rarely taken into consideration? Maybe it's a kind of search for sensationalism. Anyway, now the floor is yours. What do you think about these prophecies for 2018? Which of these have you already heard and which ones haven't you? Let me know your opinion in a comment. Before we wrap up, I want to wish everyone a wonderful 2018. Yeah, I know, at the end of a video like this, it might seem pretty ridiculous to wish a happy new year, but there's always hope that these prophecies won't come true, right? Happy 2018, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, like, or share it with friends. See you in the next video, l'inspiegabile.